and welcome back to Fuel for Thought. Today, I am thrilled to be joined by Kelsey Cates, Global Head of Live Learning Experiences at Google. We are especially delighted to chat with Kelsey following her brilliant speaker session on playfulness at Fuel's inaugural EX Summit. With a career that spans marketing, analytics, and award-winning learning design, Kelsey brings a unique lens to how we create more impactful, joyful, and transformative learning experiences at work. So let's jump right in. Welcome, Kelsey. It is so good to have you here.
I am delighted to be here. Like you already said, though, I'm probably not going to do some dancing this time around. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, brilliant. Well, some people may have seen you at our Employee Experience Summit, which was amazing, where you did a great session and you did get us all dancing. And we talked about the seriousness of playfulness and why we should be taking it serious in the workplace. What can you tell, for anyone that wasn't there and didn't get to see you, what can you tell them about your experience in this world, how you got into this, and why playfulness is such a big part of it?
So before I get started, if you're joining or listening and you haven't seen me before and in your head you think I might be talking about like playing Monopoly at work or that horrible forced fun dodgeball game you had 2 weeks ago, that's not what I'm talking about. Unless, of course, you had a good time, and then that's a different story. So when I talk about playfulness at work, it's more of a mindset. So it's that relaxed, not so serious approach, can be silly, or there's humorous, there's interactivity with it. And important is just like letting a little bit go of your ego and being able to be vulnerable or silly or just not need to be that serious, powerful person all the time. So hopefully that dissuades all of you that were thinking that I'm really pushing that we gamify everything or everything's sports in the office. I think it was about 7 years ago, and I attended this fabulous training at Google. It's called Magic Academy. And one of their elements was playfulness, and it really just stuck with me. We didn't do a ton with it, but it was the idea that you don't have to be serious to do serious work, which if you know Google well, like that is a statement there that we say, right? They used to, Larry and Sergey would come up and they'd wear shorts to the office, right? You don't have to dress seriously to do serious work. And the idea is the same around mindset. But the reality is I found myself really serious at work and in 36 hours of meetings and just not excited about showing up and not excited about how I was showing up.
Yeah.
And just in my head, I'm like, cool, I can sit here and I can continue to do that, or I can change that. Not just for learning and like the work that I look after in my role at Google, but for how we work in general. And today I would say I'm still playing with my learning and what does that mean and how do I show up? But I am a happier, more productive person, and I'm seeing that in others.
I love the idea of these people who you expect to be really, really serious getting to turn up at work in whatever way they feel and to be playful and to be more themselves and be maybe a bit more of their authentic self instead of the person that they think they're supposed to be in the workplace. So have you any examples of, where you've seen this kind of playfulness at work at play in Google? I'm sure there's plenty.
I'm pausing because yes, but not as much as you would think.
Okay.
So it's there and in pockets and it's embraced, but it's actually I still get a fair amount of pushback. We'll come back to that later, but let's talk about the good bits first.
Yeah.
Our leadership team was getting together recently and we're just having a good chat. And of course we have some banter at the beginning, part of playfulness, right? Just having some opening questions. And one of my coworkers just casually mentioned that she was wearing Crocs. And a couple of us stopped. And I don't know how folks here, our listeners, feel about Crocs, but our leadership team was very divided. Either I love me some Crocs, and we're like, whoa, I wouldn't have expected that from you, or are you seriously talking about Crocs? I would never wear these. Yeah. Okay. So I sense you're just where are you going with this?
I'm not a Crocs person. And I'm like, oh no, which side of the fence should I be on?
I told myself, I was like, don't tell her which side I'm on. That's not the point of the story. But we started having this whole discussion about where people were on Crocs. And I ended up sending these memes of a famous actress who wore Crocs on the the Oscars for the red carpet. Yeah. We went back and forth and I ended up getting Crocs for her birthday present and what we're doing. And anytime we like something or we can't agree on something, our new word is Crocs. Right. And so it's just it's a very simple, silly thing that brings back a genuine memory where we connected and bonded over something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And now when we're able to anchor back to that, even if we're in a tough, heated debate where we're not eye to eye on it, like that's our word that like brings us back to like,
I
cool,
love it.
it's not too serious.
Yeah,
Whatever
yeah.
we're doing is fine.
Yeah. I love it. It just brings back that lightheartedness and reminds
Yeah.
you of who you actually all are in that meeting when you're having that heated debate about Crocs, rather than the people you're all trying to turn up to be in that boardroom, maybe, or in whatever the meeting is.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many times, right? Like you work late or you get stressed on about something, and then people are like, I'm not curing cancer, I'm not doing this, or I'm not saving lives. We get so wrapped up in what
Yeah.
we're doing and so passionate, and there's such a beauty about that. But as a part of that, as a part of humans, that passion that we have also comes off, particularly in a corporate environment, as like seriousness and a toughness and defensiveness. And
Yeah.
this lighthearted thing is such a great way to just cut through that.
Yeah. And I love that you're talking about at the level of like high senior managers and things like that as well, because I think it's important that play is showcased at that level, as well as maybe at a lower level of people that probably are more naturally playful and maybe are in less stressful meetings, or not that the
Yeah.
job is less stressful. No matter what level you're at, you have your own elements of stress, but maybe they have more opportunities to engage with their employees and engage with their colleagues and things like that, whereas at those other senior levels there isn't maybe that opportunity. So I love the fact that you're talking about kind of play coming into those places as well.
That's probe there, because I think that's
Yeah.
such a juicy bit. It's a question I get all the time. Folks that are maybe not so senior presenting to senior folks,
Yeah.
or what does it look like in a senior way, and then what does it look like at other levels? I brought a few props. I didn't know if I would use
Ooh.
them. This is a great book, Humor Seriously.
Okay.
So this is actually, it's a class in humor that they teach at the Stanford Business School. So it's playfulness is like the breadth is kind of wide, but one
Yeah.
element of playfulness is humor. Great book. Couldn't recommend it more.
Love it.
But in there, they have a Venn diagram. And it's like the more senior you get, there's the more layer of like drinks are on me and jokes are on me. Right. And so when you're in a senior leadership position, the more vulnerability you can have and you can show, the more approachable and real and authentic your team is going to see you. They already see
Okay.
you as credible, so you don't need to be that
Yeah.
really serious person. And so being able to see that side of you that is more human allows that innovation, creativity. Ooh, like there's this wacky idea, I don't know if they'll like it. When you are showcasing that vulnerability, you are giving your team confidence to want to share that with you.
Oh, I
I
love
get a
that.
lot of folks that are coming in, they're like, I have a really senior meeting and here's how I've prepared and here's my executive summary and my 2 minutes for this. And I was like, stop. Like they see that every day, all
Yeah.
day long. That's
Yeah.
all they see.
Yeah.
Do a little bit of homework, right? Do they
Yeah.
have a favorite show they're watching or a band they like or something like that? Can you come in and tell an analogy about the Beatles? I'm trying to do this like stream of
Yeah.
consciousness. I'm like, this is not going to work. But as the band they like, and tell it
Yeah.
how it relates to a problem you're solving. I promise you, at the very least, they will find your approach refreshing and remember it.
Yeah, and it's getting to relate on a level that's doesn't matter what job title you have. It's the level of human connection and a level of, oh my God, I was also at the Oasis gig. Oh my God, wasn't it carnage? I wish I was at the Oasis gig. I was not, but I heard all the stories and saw all the bruises and saw all the, But yeah, it's that like, okay, we can relate as humans, and then we shift back into our roles as whatever our job title is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of employee experience, obviously we talk a huge amount about the employee journey and employee experience as a whole, and how all of those important elements on the employee journey are so key for the employee when they're coming on onboarding, and how they're engaging with managers, and how the office, the workplace environment is for them, and all of those different areas of the employee journey. Can play come into all of those areas?
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I say this as like, can it come in? But I'm like, I know it can come in. This
Tell
is why
me
we're
how.
here.
Tell me
Yes.
how.
Yes, really, it's tell me how.
So yes, absolutely. I know one of your pillars about employee engagement really is crafting culture.
Yeah.
To me, like play is part of your culture, right? If I walk in, you'll see I'm wearing a cream top today. It was a last minute decision that I had to iron on my way in here. My husband gives me a hard time. I always wear light colors, and I am so that person that spills things on me all the time. I was going to have my green smoothie on the car ride over. I was like, nope, not today. But if I had, and I'm a leader, and I show up and say I have my green smoothie all over my light colored blouse, and I'm going into an important meeting, I could completely shut down because all I can be thinking about is how I'm being judged or how I'm being perceived. But if I have a culture where I can show up as me and it's embraced and I won't be judged and I can still be taken seriously, I can walk in and be like, it's feeling a little bland today, needed some color, move
Make a
on,
joke.
do what I need to deliver. Right. And so when you think about crafting culture, playfulness is absolutely important in how you show up and what you're doing. You touched on onboarding. I'm actually, Google is bringing back our in-person onboarding after COVID
brilliant.
in Dublin. Yeah, we're the second city to do it outside of a city in India. And we're talking about that, right? We want Google to still be a place that people really, really want to work. Like, yes, we're really serious about the business and what you need to do and do your job, but it's a place that should be remarkable and excellent and fun in all these different ways, right? You get to meet the canine dog. And so part of what I was doing was auditing that says, like, are we bringing the magic? Are we bringing the play? Are we creating the safety? And so one example, we do this particularly, it works particularly well with Nooglers. That's what we call our new Googlers. Is so they're in a room, there's 150 people. Of course, we have a lot to get through, and to get everyone back on time is always a thing that we need to do. And so we do it in kind of almost a playful, almost cheesy way. And we just, we live that and we say, cool, if you're going to go to the barista 5 minutes before you need to get back and there's a queue, you're going to likely be doing a joke, jingle, or a jive when you come in because you're late.
Okay.
Right. And so it's a nice way to be like, be on time. If you're not on time, you're coming in with a joke, jingle, or jive. So there's a little bit of accountability to be there, but not in a shamey way. Right. In a fun way of what we're doing. So in onboarding, it sets the stage. Right. It's that first experience. Do they want to know me as me? Are they human? Do they balance the work with the humanity of what we're doing? But to your point, it exists in all side of things, right? I run a lot of learner programs around managers and new managers or coaching for management. And like what we were talking about with senior leaders, you can get to a leadership or a management position and feel like, okay, now I need to be serious. Like I touched on this in my talk. So as you know, like, we're one of the only mammals that as we get older, we think that being playful is a bad thing. But again, we need that as leaders as well, right? We as managers and leaders are setting the water line. And so if it's here, like, that's where our employees are going to go. But if we can role model the jokes, the silliness, the vulnerability, folks can come there with us. And you don't just feel like it, like work is sucking the humanity out of you and stifling it. Like, it's like that. We want all of it.
And I think, like, nobody teaches you how you're supposed to behave as you go up the ladder in a workplace, or as you change positions or change teams. You know, nobody is there to say, oh, you should or you shouldn't act like this now because you're now more senior or because you have a team under you or whatever. There's no one to say that, but yet we have these ideas in our head that, oh, once I have this title, I must be a certain way, or I must dress a certain way, or I must, but like, really, no, your skill set is what's getting you to that next level. Your skill set is what, you know, a company wants from you. We still want you to be you, and we're promoting you into that position because of who you are in your previous position and the relationships you have and the fun you have at work and what you bring to the company. So it's so interesting how for some reason we all go into this, oh, I'm more senior now, I must act like this, or I must dress like this, or I must, you know, control how I behave in this scenario, you know, instead of really understanding why we got there in the first place.
So when you were saying that, I don't know why, and I like kind of cringe inside, right? Because I'm the person talking about playfulness, but I immediately thought of someone in a suit and tie. And I think it's TV shows, it's culture, it's things around us, it's what our parents did. Like, we are taught that that's what you're supposed to be doing. But that's not how we learn. That's not how we bring our best selves to work, is by showing up as someone we're not. And so it doesn't, whether you're senior or new to a career or in a new position, like, there is so much value in being able to connect with others. And playfulness is a beautiful part about being able to do that, But when you are literally wearing a costume that is not yours, you're not going to be able to connect in that way.
Yeah. And the workplace is changing. Like you say, we're seeing that on TV programs or the old corporate world. This is how it was supposed to be. But the workplace is changing and there's a lot more that we're dealing with now. And I mean, definitely from the playfulness side of things, I'm curious about that changing workforce and how in areas like burnout, we're seeing burnout a huge amount more now. AI is stressing people out and also helping things. The idea of it is stressful, but actually when they get into it, but it obviously helps, but it's scary. And there's so many more changes that we're going through in the workplace at the moment. So I wonder, like, on those two areas, even if we look at burnout maybe first and then talk AI, because I know we could talk all day about AI, can playfulness really be brought into those? Because I think it should and could be.
I couldn't agree more. Also, I was like, when are we going to bring up AI? That's happening, right?
Yeah.
Like every conversation has
I
to
know,
have that
yeah,
or
yeah.
no one will listen.
Yeah, tick that box, AI.
We'll come back to tick that box. Burnout. Yes.
Yeah.
So I literally was reading an article last week called Quietly Cracking. And I was like, what is this
Oh.
quietly cracking? And it's the idea that people are showing up to work, they're doing their job, but they're hating it and they're miserable afterwards, right? They're answering all their emails, they're showing their calendar's great, they've prepped their agenda, and then behind the scenes they're crying or they're not sleeping or they're doom scrolling and doing what we're doing. So maybe we're just giving a name now to something that people have been doing for a while, but it's not working, it's not sustainable, right? Like that's the edge piece before that burnout. I want to be clear. Playfulness is not the silver bullet for all things work related. So let me just be clear in that. That said, if I can walk into work and I can joke around with my manager or my boss, right? Or I can wear something silly on a matching Tuesday for like a throwback 80s day that we do, or I can connect over a silly inside joke or a game I played with an old peer. I get to have that spark, that joy, that happiness. And whatever I'm going to do next, I can walk into that with a different state of mind that maybe isn't that dread or anxiety or that stress, right? From a neuro cocktail perspective, it's a different way I'm getting that dopamine hit that is then allowing me to go into a cognitive space where I can focus or have attention because I feel that purpose and that belonging. And you know better than anyone, right? Like a great boss and a great work environment, like there's only so far that pay and perks take you. Like you need to have purpose and connection. And so being able to have those interactions in a lighthearted way pays dividends. You could totally see it as a distraction. But I've talked to a fair amount of people in the workout and like well-being space around how do you give back to yourself, right? And being able to, for me, it is having a little bit of a dance or a joke or some crack over lunch. And I go back and I'm feeling a bit refreshed. Am I solved? Do I have no stress? Absolutely not. But can it make my day better? 100%.
And that's what connection is all about. And if we can connect in a more lighthearted way, because we're connecting all the time, right? When you're in the office and you're connecting with clients and you're connecting with your boss and connecting with your teammates and connecting with maybe HR or finance or whoever it is that you need to deal with. But sometimes those connections are stressful connections, or sometimes those connections are something that you're worried about, or it's something that's going to end up giving you more work, or, so yes, we're connecting and it's great to be connecting through our work, but sometimes we're not connecting in that fun and that playful and that lighthearted way, which just lets your shoulders drop and lets you breathe a little bit more.
I actually have a great story to that. I was getting some feedback that my facilitation team, like we needed to really up the ante. Like people needed to feel special and different, that not just anyone could come in and train them in what they were doing. And my team loves what they do and are finding purpose in it. And so I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do with this? How am I supposed to give them this feedback? And I was like, no, actually, I'm going to do this in a different way, in an inspiring way. And we're going to talk about bringing the magic to learning and what we're doing. So I said, we're going to have a magic session and where we're doing it. So I did prime them for that, but it wasn't a lecture. It wasn't a memo on how we need, like our scores are great, or right. Like this is a mindset and empowering them. So what did I do? I showed up and I overlaid a wizard like a virtual wizard to what I'm doing, right? I want you to literally imagine me with a wizard hat on and the beard, like having a magic session to talk about how to empower that with the team. And one of the things we did, I had a few people behind the scenes help me. I run a global team, so in Brazil, in Tokyo, in India, and Singapore, and a few weeks later, I had them put in like their favorite treat, their go-to treat when they're stressed or when they really want to relax. And so I had all their treats. So we got the 7 different like delivery platforms, right? Uber Eats is not a thing in Brazil. Not the point.
Yeah.
And we had their favorite treats delivered to them during the magic session, right? So I'm sitting here in my virtual beard and wizard hat while they're getting their mini Kit Kats in Sao Paulo. And we're talking about how they can bring more magic to the session in a way that delivers that to them. That feels so much different than me sending an email that says leadership said XYZ, you need to do this, what have you. So I acknowledge I'm tooting my little horn there, but just giving an example on what it means to show up in a playful way.
Yeah. But I love that because it's something small, but it makes it more meaningful. It makes it more impactful. They're going to go away from that session being like, that was a great session. You know, even just you showing up as a wizard at the beginning. I'm imagining you with a box of costumes beside your desk, to be honest. And we're very similar. I have a box of costumes at home that, you know, I used to own a theater school, so I swear it's normal for me to have costumes.
I don't know what my excuse is, but that's okay. I'm definitely okay.
But I feel like I love the idea of you like straight away within the first 5 minutes of that meeting, they're already shoulders down, lightened mood, happy to be there, laughing at your expense, like you say. As the more senior you get, the more the jokes are about you. But they're already relieved and going into that session going, okay, this isn't something we're going to be lectured at. We're not going to be just told what's happening. We're in this together. We're in this with Kelsey. You know, we're laughing with her. And
you bring up such a beautiful point. So for me, playfulness and just even good workplace and learning is a with you, not a to you experience, right? And so no matter what you're doing, how can you bring people in? If you are running a very serious meeting or a presentation, like, again, how can you make it with them and not to them? How can you ask them a question? I brought these 2 little things here. Let's see. I'm left-handed, but I'm going to toss it to you with my right hand. If you want to read the one with your left on your left thumb.
On my left thumb. Okay. What holiday do you most enjoy?
I was like, yes! So I wasn't like, this is all very spur of the moment. I wasn't going to have you do that. But I love Halloween because I love fancy dress. I could tell you all these stories about it. Bigger meta point here. Bring this little thing into your next in-person team meeting. Start your team meeting off this way. It's 5 minutes. You get everyone engaged. They're more likely to engage with you for the rest of your session, even if that engagement needs to be listening to some important thing you have to say.
I love that. There's like lovely little prompts on here. What sports do you like? What are you afraid of?
Ignore the part where my 1-year-old is teething and trying to eat them.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a stress cube or a chew toy. Yeah. I love it. And what about, let's go back to the big word.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go back to AI, because if we don't mention it, it will, no one will tune in, obviously, because it's the topic that is on everyone's mind.
We're going to, if we hashtag it, we're going to get in trouble.
Hashtag AI with Playfulness.
For real.
So because I think we're at that phase now. Luckily, I think people are kind of moved on from the I'm terrified. Well, I don't know. I feel like if I've moved on, I'm a little bit of a technophobe. I feel like if I'm now embracing AI, I'm sure everyone else is well ahead of me. But I think we've moved on from the major fear, although some people are still in that fear stage. So have we gone into the let's have fun with this phase of AI yet?
Yeah. Oh, God. I don't know if I'm prepared to answer that. Okay. But what I will tell you is, like, when I think of AI in my own world and what I'm doing, like how I show up as a human and what I allow AI to do, like the human bit is getting even more important, right?
Yes.
Like, and so when they, like, the last thing that they need from me is a robot or something that AI wrote or that shows up that way. Like, I really need to show up for my unique value and who I am. And so I would say that authenticity around who you are, where are you lighthearted? Are you silly? Are you goofy? My husband works in finance in the startup space in the US, tons of new technologies, and where he's at, he could be very serious, but he's goofy. Like when he's doing his best work, but he will be the first to tell you he has like 6 gems in Gemini that had like help him, whether it's with parenting or these new refinancing loans that they're working on. So I would say that two main things when it comes to playfulness in AI. One, where you have to show up as human, you better be on your A game, right? Because what the expectations are for what AI can do versus you, like you need to be adding unique value. And you don't want to be talking to a robot. And you don't want to feel like AI wrote your emails and did all of that for you. Like you want it to be the human side. So even like, just to give you an example there, and by the way, this is a kind of ironic oxymoron. I don't know how it works, but you can use AI to help you with being playful, right? You write this serious email, send it to your favorite, AI tool, ChatGPT or to Gemini, and say, make this. What is your authentic playfulness? Is it silly? Is it playful? Is it humorous? Is it witty or clever? And have them do that for you. So for one of the people that I work with, I was always like 2 minutes late because it was right between meetings and someone was going long. And so I just, in my salutation, I wrote, your coworker who promises she wants to be like on time going forward, Kelsey, right? And just even that salutation is human, me connecting with you in that way. That's not, I was talking to someone actually that I met at the Fuel conference. I was talking to Gina. She's like, I know every time when someone writes me with AI, it says like warmly. It's like the thing that everyone says right now.
And she
right?
knows.
And they don't want that. And so you want that authenticity. So the second part of it is you got to be really human when you're being human. And playfulness is a part of that. And the second piece is AI can be such a tool for that, right? So I think for a lot of us, what it looks like to show up as a little playful at work feels uncomfortable because we're not doing it. Right. So mine is self-deprecation or fancy dress or something like that. And so I use Gemini. You can create a gem, right? And so a gem kind of retains all the things you put in before. So I've uploaded some of my neuroscience research and my behavioral stuff. I've talked about what I like and don't like with playfulness. I've given it examples, and I can say, hey, here I'm doing this presentation. I need to make a couple jokes at my expense. Can you help me do that? Right.
I love
and
that. So
it's my tool.
It's now got to know what your version of playfulness is. So it can still help you, but it's the human at the heart of it. You are the one that's input everything about you. It's not the robot that has decided what is humorous.
Exactly.
It's Kelsey within the robot tool helping. It's
additive. It's supplementary to what I'm doing, but I've absolutely personalized it and where I'm going with it. And so there's no reason anyone else can't use AI as a tool to work on your stories or your analogies or wherever feels good for you.
And it's funny because you were talking about that email and how that really frustrated, Gina was talking about, like she knows it's AI when someone responds. And like your emails, every time you email me, it snaps me out of my normal work zone. And it's only when you say that now that I'm realizing that is you like you're putting your playfulness onto me at a time when I don't expect it. I don't know I'm about to get an email from you. I don't know what's about to show up in my inbox, but I'm very much in a, hi there, I'm getting back to you. Here's what you need. Thank you so much. Bye. That's my mode because I'm like blasting through emails, and then suddenly I get an email from you and it's like usually got some like little story about something that's just happened that morning or like, I hope your day is going super, super well. Here's what's just happened to me. And it's like, suddenly you're like, oh, shoot, yeah, okay, this is a human interaction. I'm not just firing off 15 emails like in this 30-minute window I have between calls. I'm having human interactions, and this should be fun and it should be enjoyable. And I should be enjoying having this exchange with someone instead of it being this task that you're completing,
Don't get me wrong. I'm in the same groove, right? Like I was emailing you on Friday in the car while my baby's sleeping and my other kid's on the screen. And I was like, okay, 5 more minutes till I get nauseous. I can do this. But I share that with you. And like, would it have been easier for me like, cool, 3:00 works fine. Here's the script. Of course. Like I still have to tell myself like to do that. And so for those of you that are listening, you're like, this takes so much more time. It takes so much more energy. It can, but it doesn't have to. And what I would say is it's an investment, right? Our interactions then become more authentic. Or actually, one of my favorite things about playfulness, and I go back to my silly Crocs example, is one of my leaders, one of my peers that loves Crocs. I never thought he would have loved Crocs. And he told me this story, and I kind of saw him as like prickly and like not the person that I'd want to interact with most. But then like I saw this nice friendly side of him who we liked Crocs.
You're
and I was
imagining
like,
what little animals he's sticking into the holes on his Crocs or
Yes.
whatever those little,
Yes,
little
yes.
toys are.
And I can't see him as prickly anymore. Like I really
Yeah.
can't. And so we're having that interaction, and I just am willing to give him the benefit of the doubt in a new way
Yeah.
that I didn't before.
Yeah.
Right. And so it takes our relationship from transactional to a relationship. There's
Yeah.
more there. There's more goodwill. There's more benefit of the doubt. We can go further, deeper. We can make mistakes together. We can be creative and innovative. But I think it's hard in that checkbox, cool, I've done this way of what we want to work. But as AI keeps taking those bits away, it's that rapport and those interactions and the things that we're going to be able to accomplish together that need to be thought about differently. And if we don't have safety and if we don't have rapport and connection, we're not going to get as far.
Yeah. And like I talk a lot about the difference between transactional and transformational. And that's like, it's just ringing in my ears as you're talking through that, because we go into such a transactional mind frame, you know, and that where this is a transaction from A to B, instead of how can we make this transaction transformational, where we're actually giving something more than just the transaction with our action. So that really like rings true to everything you're saying there.
I mean, why not just have a robot do it? Why not have this other company do it? Why not? Like you need to bring something to the table. And I don't care if you're 5 or you're 50 or you're 30 or what position, you want to feel belonging. You want to feel that it's you that someone cares about. And when it's transactional, it's not going to feel that way.
Yeah. Like, I know that we're the converted, right? Because we both have our box. Yeah, because we both have our boxes of costumes ready to play. I'm always willing to sing. You're always willing to dance. So I feel like we're the badly on my side on the singing too. So I feel like we're the converted. But I can imagine from like, because you like playfulness is something you speak so passionately about. You put it in your titles, you put it in your, you know, in your LinkedIn posts and in everything that you do. I'm sure there's some sort of pushback as well from, you know, senior leaders or people in the workplace that are like, what is this? This doesn't matter. Like, how do you kind of combat that?
Yeah.
You know, that reaction.
I've been told, like, as you start to get pushback on things, that's how you know you have something really meaningful. So I'm embracing that.
It's like, I will never take no as my first answer. I'm like, if they've said no 3 times, I will accept that. But no, the first time is a challenge. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, you're challenging me to come back to you with another request.
How can I say this
I like that. So if you're getting pushback, it means you're onto something good. That's
totally.
I like that.
So actually one of my former VPs who I really like and respect, I was trying to get her to be a little bit more playful. And she was like, Kelsey, not every meeting needs to be playful. And I was like, cool. But also not every meeting needs to be so serious and boring.
Yeah.
And I think we get so in autopilot, and we as humans are in autopilot because it helps us be efficient, right? We do what we've always been doing.
Yeah.
And so I think the biggest pushback is like, I don't have time for this. This isn't the top priority. If your team is burning out, if they're not embracing AI, if they're not collaborating, if your innovation feels stifled, if you have psych safety problems, or if you are a manager and your team isn't willing to give you tough feedback, those are all things that a little playfulness and vulnerability can help to create.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not overselling the silver bullet of this. But if those are things that you're coming up against, playfulness can absolutely be part of your remedies in your toolbox to help that, right? If you show me your mistake or what you did wrong, I joined my first Pilates 2 class today, and I was in there, and it was one of the first times where, I don't know if you've been into workout classes where they walk away and you're like, you stop doing what they were doing.
Every week.
That was totally me today. They're like, both legs up, switching, pull the bands. I was just like, as soon as she turned around, and she's like, breathe. Right. But as soon as we as humans can show that we're infallible and making mistakes, like other people can be like, okay, cool. I made this mistake here. What can I do to fix it? And you're like, gosh, I'm so glad I've created the atmosphere where you can come to me now. Because if you didn't do that and you covered it up, like here's all these things that would happen. So to those that say they don't have time, if you have any of those other issues, you better make time. I think there's pushback around just senior people want to be serious, don't want to do that. Like, again, as someone who gets presented to all the time and as someone who does presentations to senior leaders, it is refreshing. It's like, Kelsey, I heard you like Whitney Houston. And they have an analogy of like, instead of I want to dance with somebody, it was like, I want to build something with you. Right. And it was so beautiful.
I'm straight away going to Disney. Do you want to build a snowman? I'm like, okay, I can.
So
I'm always like soaking stuff up. I'm like, okay, I can use this. I can use this. I'm like, my team are gonna be like, oh Lord, she doesn't need any more reasons to bring Disney into the workplace.
Take away, Kelsey.
Yeah,
bring Disney into the workplace. Yeah. So I would say the other skepticism is like, I'm not playful, or we don't have a playful culture, or our work is too serious to be playful. Those are all things I've heard. And my invitation there would be, playfulness doesn't need to be funny or joking around or the class clown, right? Playfulness could be inviting some movement or stretching into what you're doing. It could be creating more of a story. And so one of my really good friends, she's like, Kelsey, just change the name from playfulness to like joy or fun or what you're doing. And I was like, no, playfulness is lighthearted, interactive, letting go of ego. There's actually no other word that encompasses it. A little bit of just like teaching the science of what this means.
Because you can't force joy either. You know what I mean? Like joy can't be forced, but playfulness, you can create it. You can, manufacture it.
It's a
by
mindset.
Bringing,
Joy is not a mindset. Joy is a feeling that playfulness can induce. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. And before we go, because I would love to be staying here all day chatting, for anyone that's listening at home and kind of is looking for top tips, I know we've talked through a lot, which I think, and I'm already thinking of different ways that I can bring this in to my team. Like, we've talked through a lot in terms of burnout, in terms of AI, in terms of approaching leaders that may, be looking at this in the wrong way, and, and pushing kind of the boundaries of what playfulness can be in the workplace. But is there any kind of top tips or top nuggets of info that you would love people to kind of go home with, just in their head, that they can kind of bring into their own workplace?
This is above and beyond, like, come into costume, right? Like, okay, cool. Just wanted to.
I mean, the costume is great. Everyone just have one ready. Yeah.
Oh, so many directions I could go with that. I think my biggest invitation is get to know what side of playfulness is authentic to you. It does exist. Yeah. It's you. I actually, for a long time, like, you've heard me talk, like, my husband is so naturally, beautifully playful. Everything is a song and dance. And we have dance parties in our house when we do the dishes. And I was like, oh, I feel so impostery talking about playfulness. But my playfulness is more structured. It is like a theme or fancy dress party, right? Yeah. I did that for our coaching cohort that we're doing. And so if you don't know what your authentic playfulness is it, movements, jokes, silliness, stories, creating joy or special surprise and delight moments for folks, ask someone that knows you really well. When I am my best self, when I am happy, when we are fun, when I am smiling, what am I bringing to the table? Yeah. That is my first invitation, is just playing with what that is to you. And I'm just getting more comfortable that my authentic playfulness is that more structured, throwing parties, creating get-togethers, running a training session as a wizard. Yeah. The part I'm playing with is the self-deprecation and the humor, and trying that on and experimenting. Yeah. And so my second tip would be around, if you are in any type of surrounding, whether it's personal at work or get together for lunch or a team meeting that you're leading, start off with something personal that you can ask folks that like gets them thinking in a new way, but that is about them, right? Okay. So perhaps you are going to do some brainstorming on what you want to do, and you can say, like, tell me the time that you did something and had a new idea and it was real shit and it failed, right? Or tell me something about the weekend that you wouldn't think we would, like, that no one would be jealous of. And you're just creating a moment where you can connect over that humility and that vulnerability of what you're doing. And that language matters, right? Like, if I'm running a project and I'm just like, hey, we're going to solve this problem together. I need your best thinking. And in order to do that, I want you to write out your worst ideas. Worst ideas to solve this problem. What are the things we absolutely should not do? And everyone can start off with that, right?
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
can have those worst ideas. You get it on the table, you have some laughs about it, you connect over that. And then it's those worst ideas that are like, cool, actually, if we don't do that, but we do that from that idea, like, and that gets things flowing. So
Yeah.
play with your language and how you frame things.
I love that. I can see so many different ways to bring this into the workplace in where we are like we're such a creative agency. We do these things in our brainstorms and things like that all the time, but I feel like there's always new ways to bring in play and to create experiences in a really authentic and fun way for people. And like I mean, that's what we do. We want to create great experiences in the employee experience world. That's what we're trying to do is craft a great culture and create amazing experiences. And I think when you bring play into it, like you might as well try it. Do you know what I mean? You might as well try it, experiment, bring it in, and that's going to, create something new. And like you say, if it doesn't work or if something, you pivot and you try something new, but you want to create those experiences and make them as best you can and as playful and fun as you can.
I'm in.
And we're sold. Fantastic. Thank you so much for being here and for chatting through everything with me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Grania, it's been a treat. Thank you.
Thank you.